Have you ever been nearly crushed to death by a crowd of 100,000 people? So when I was living in Japan, my friend Ian and I decided to go to one of the biggest conventions in all of Japan, Tokyo Game Show. It's not an actual game show, even though that's what I thought at first. It's a massive gaming expo where publishers and developers come to show off new games, new technology, all that good stuff. But I had never been to a convention before, so when Ian invited me, I was like, yeah, I should be free. But I had no idea what to expect for a convention, and my expectations were immediately subverted because as soon as we got off the train, there was a line. And not just any old line, this was a line that had its own line, which makes sense because this venue was massive. To put it in perspective, the year we went, the total attendance for the event was over 243,000 people. On the day we went, it was nearly 100,000 people. So once we got into the convention center, it was even more crowded than the line. We started wandering around for a bit, but we realized that to get to each of these booths that the AAA studios set up, because of the crowd, it took like 20 minutes to get 300 feet. It was just horrific. But Ian was meeting up with a friend, and they wanted to go see some weeb stuff. Not me though. Frickin' weebs. So we split up, I started to wander. Now something interesting about the Tokyo Game Show is that every booth is like giving out free stuff, mostly like little plastic totes. So I spent like 2 hours making a full loop of this humongous venue, collecting every little tote and trinket I could find. I literally had like a pile in my arms. But during my lap at the game show, I got to see all sorts of stuff. I saw the Metal Gear booth, I saw the Fate booth, shout out Fate. I somehow wandered into the cosplay area. I don't know if you know, at conventions they have like a big section where all the cosplayers go and they take their photos, which was cool. There was a lot of baddies there. Probably stayed a little too long, maybe stared a little too hard. You're pretty. I also went to go buy a souvenir. Unfortunately, I'm one of those kinds of people, like if I go to a concert, I buy like a t-shirt or a hat or something. I'll like never wear it ever, but I have to have it. So I stood in line for literally like an hour to buy something, but I ended up buying a plain white PlayStation t-shirt. Don't know why I did that. Seriously, it was like 50 bucks. I don't know why I did that. And when I got home, I found out I accidentally bought like a triple XL. So I didn't even wear it. I ended up donating it. Stupid waste of money. Why do I have to buy stuff? I'm dumb. Anyway, as the day went on, the crowd started to reach its peak. The crowds had gotten so bad. This is a real picture I took. This wasn't even that bad. This is like 60% of what it got to. But as I was trying to make my way to the break area, I got trapped in the middle of a massive group of people, all stuck. You know that scene from The Lion King with the wildebeest stampede? It was literally that, but instead of wildebeests, it was a bunch of sweaty gamers. So pretty much the same thing. But that was the first time in my life I had ever been stuck in a crowd like that. I was starting to get squished from all directions. And that's when something just triggered in me. I started sweating, I started getting panicky, claustrophobic. And something I should mention about Japanese people. Wonderful people. Some of the most polite people you'll ever meet. In a crowd, they are shovers. They will push, they will jostle you. If there is even a microscopic amount of space, they will try to take that. And I remember this one guy pushed me. And that's when something in my brain actually snapped. I knew I had to get out. But when you're trapped in a huge group of people, what do? Well, I didn't know. I wasn't in a rational state of mind, so I just started body checking fools. The guy who pushed me, I literally like clotheslined, and I just pushed myself with force out of the crowd. Was it the best thing to do? No. If I could go back, would I do things differently? Hell no, I needed out of there. I finally made my way out. I got a text from Ian. He wanted to meet up at the rest area. But when I finally reunited with Ian, we were both just sitting there completely shell-shocked, like,
last bag! Make it count! What?
It's Macy's biggest one-day sale of the season.
Our legs ached from standing on the concrete all day. The crowd had gotten to us. There was still like 3 hours of the convention left, but we were ready to leave. Except neither of us had been to the indie booths yet. And so Ian suggested we go. So I did, albeit begrudgingly. But let me tell you, that is when our day turned around. They actually had the games ready to play, and there were no lines to play them. And as we were walking through these, there was a game that caught our eye, and we knew we had to play it. I mean, it was like This beautiful, hand-drawn, almost watercolored art style. It was just so unique. It stood out from the crowd, called Echo of the Waves. Ian and I are playing it together. We're gushing about it because it's just so cool. And that's when these two girls come from behind and they say, "Are you enjoying our game?" It was the developers of the game, and Ian and I ended up getting to talk with them for like over an hour until the convention closed. And it was so cool. It's these two women from Switzerland who are just like geniuses. One of them did the art, the other did all the technicals, but they had such a passion for creating this game, and they were so awesome. They were so cool. They talked to us about how they made it, the art style, the decision making behind it, and they even gave us stickers from the game for us to give to our students. Oh, it's so cool. It's so great. I know it sounds like I'm getting endorsed or something to talk about it. I really am not. That was the only time we ever talked to them. But it was such a great experience, and it just made the entire convention worth it. If you can, please support them. Echo of the Waves, you can wishlist it on Steam. They deserve the support. But moral of the story, if you go to a convention, skip the big budget AAA stuff and all the lines and go straight to that indie section. That is where all the heat is. Anyway, that's it. Bye.